we have got a special guest amongst us. Carla, you are joining In PS We Trust, a PlayStation podcast. And the reason why I've got you on, more than anything, is because you are a trophy hunter. You put my record to shame, you put Spence's record to shame, and for God's sake, you put Phil's record to shame, which is just diabolical at this point.
I don't have a record, come on.
No, you really don't, mate. Carla, what trophy level are you at these days? What's your platinum count?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, guys. Would you believe I actually don't know my level? But I am on 174 platinums. Since
Jesus.
PlayStation changed over the levels from the old one where it went from 1 to 100, now it's gone up to 1,000, I stopped taking any notice of my level.
Oh, I was exactly the same. I mean, when I hit platinum 100, I think I'm on 114 now, so I'm still kind of baby numbers compared. But when I hit platinum 100, I stopped caring at that point. I feeling like I was in the elite club, you know? Even though you're not far off kind of doubling me at this point. But the reason why I got you on, and thank you for joining us, Carla, is because I saw this tweet from you a couple of months ago, and it just sparked my imagination. And I thought, I gotta pick your brain a little bit on this. So this tweet you had, you said, I've had my PSN account since 2016. I didn't properly get into trophy hunting until 2020. I've years of cleanup on all games to do, have quite a few unobtainable platinum games, and regret popping a couple of shovelware plats in my early days to boost my level. Tut, tut, tut. Considering starting over, recently Friday the 13th and Far Cry 4 became unobtainable, and it's made me think now or never. Has anyone else started over, and were they happy they did? I mean, what a question. What a question that is to ask an audience. So I kind of just nicked your question. I'm asking you back. What did you do, and what kind of brought you to this realization that this was something you might even consider doing?
Well, right, I've been gaming all my life for as long as I can remember. It is my passion. It's my hobby. I absolutely love it. And I've met some amazing friends. You know, it's my number one thing to do outside of, work and family and things like that. And, when I started my account, I started a brand new account in 2016, and I didn't care for trophies, just wanted to play and finish as many games, spend as many hours as I could in The Witcher 3 and do as many playthroughs and, uncover every question mark. And but then I got on to Assassin's Creed Origins, and I was very close to getting to platinum. Now, I had a few telltale plats before that. And I said, do you know what? I'll see if I can get the platinum. Didn't care about trophies, but I said, I'll see, I'm close. Now, back then, obviously, PSN existed, PSN profiles existed. There was a load of trophy hunters out there and communities that I wasn't aware of. I didn't even know trophy guides were a thing, I was like, so taken aback when I found out, like, there's actually people out there that do this, But anyway, I was figuring out by myself how to get this platinum in Assassin's Creed Origins. And I was okay, that was cool, that's done, fine. And then later on in the year, I got the platinum for Spider-Man. And that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. I was like, that's kind of nice to have, because I'm a completionist in everything. Going back to PlayStation 1 days, when it came to Abe's Odyssey, the Crash Bandicoot games, I had all the relics, I had all the gems, and I was able to save every Madoc. Wow. And I was always a completionist, So then, I was trying loads of games. Any game that came on PS Plus, I'd check it out, whatever. Load of unobtainable games, like I remember Star Blood Arena was given away free on PS Plus.
Yeah.
Popped one trophy and the servers went down. Just my list was a mess, but I didn't care. I wasn't a trophy hunter, it didn't matter, But then in 2020, the addiction began. And I was like, wow. And then I was on Facebook and I was like, I seen there was groups of people that do this. I was like, wow. I thought I was like the only kind of a little bit of a weirdo that wants to get these like shiny virtual things, But anyway, it was 2020 then. I kind of slipped down the rabbit hole there with the trophies. And then, it began like, I don't care about DLC. I don't care about completion. I just care about the platinums. But then it began, that when somebody added me to PSN profiles. And
Yeah.
I remember seeing my name on there and all the really bad grades for all my games. And I was like,
Oh
oh my
no.
God, get me off there. So I had to join PSN Profiles, get my account off there because I do have OCD tendencies,
Oh
and I
wow.
just did not like seeing that. So yeah, I was working away for a couple of years, cleaning up my list, doing all I could, hit a few games, and joined PSN Profiles last October. And I've been on a mission to clean up as many games as I can. And to finally answer your question, back in February, me and my buddy decided to play Friday the 13th. Now, his account would have been capable of being a 100% account, but I had popped a trophy for Friday the 13th, I think back in 2019, and was like, yeah, I don't like this, whatever. But I asked him, I said, look, will you help me? Do you want to get the platinum for this? And we'll start working on it. He was all up for it. And we put it in nearly 100 hours. And the devs then said that they were shutting the game down in December 2024. And we're
Okay.
like, fine, Jesus. Like, we only had about 200 games each as a counselor and Jason to do. We would have had to plat. That was it. We were really close.
Wow.
And then, yeah, I woke up one day, went on. Well, I actually woke up to text messages from my friends saying, did you see this? And I had seen it the night before, but I didn't think anything of it when the devs dropped the update that they'd broken the trophies. But I wasn't panicking about it. But it was all happening overnight while I was sleeping. And I woke
Oh.
up the following day to the news, yeah, it's unobtainable. People had reached out to the devs and they were like, basically, look, we're not doing anything about it. That's that, whatever. And I thought, oh no. I was just like, everything you mentioned in that tweet, I actually was thinking about it all day long. I was like, it's now or never. Will I start over? And just so I can, not have all, like, I have a load of hidden games that I do plan on going back to cleaning up, but they're games I don't know if I want to, like, spend 100 hours cleaning up. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy them, And I
Yeah.
just thought, yeah, and the shovelware stuff, I thought I was being very sneaky back then. Because as I was saying about what I cared about when the level was 100 or 1 to 100, I think I was 19 or something, level 19. And I was like, right, before I even start, my name is Mayo, I'm hiding it from my list. And so nobody will be able to see it. And I'm
Spencer's
going to
looking
get the
nervous over there.
and slide, and I did all those really grimy ones, and I was like, nobody's going to know, sure, because they won't be able to see I've hidden games, just to boost my level. And then, of course, because of milestones and everything, I unhid everything when I joined PSN Profiles last October, and I'm just like, I can see them because I'd never look at my trophy list on PlayStation, but I always look at it like I used to use True Trophies,
Oh
and
yeah.
now I'm on PSN Profiles. Now I can see everything, and I'm like, oh, it's there. It's just staring at me. I hate it. And even I think that horrible prairie game is like a milestone, my platinum 40 or something. And it kills me. It absolutely kills me. So
Oh.
yeah, that was the reasoning behind that tweet now in a quick summary.
Oh my gosh, so interesting. And I got so much I want to ask you with this, but first I got to admit
Okay.
something. I admitted this to the audience as well, but I feel like I was robbed from my biggest milestone, right? So I was on 99 platinums, and I thought to myself, I had a couple of choices, and I thought, right, I'm not going to platinum anything now, nothing. I'm going to save my 100th platinum to be something really special. I was thinking they're bound to release Metal Gear Solid 1, my favorite game of all time, at some point in the future. Bound to. I'm going to save it for that. What happened? For review on YouTube, I thought, oh, I'm going to cover Resident Evil 3. And, oh.
Resident Evil.
Yeah, bad times. But yeah, I was playing the game that can't be mentioned 3, and I put it back in, and I forgot that I'd earned the platinum before when it was the PS4 version. So as soon as I put the game back in, auto got the platinum for PS5, and that was my 100th platinum.
Ooh.
And I felt absolutely gutted. I had loads of games kind of ready to go that were just ready to be popped, like a little tiny bit of work, and then it was just totally robbed from me. And so that was probably my worst moment. Yeah, I felt sick a little bit, like when you look at your list and you're thinking some of those bad dodgy platinums. I felt like, like I've just had my house robbed from me kind of thing, you know? Like someone came in,
Yeah.
didn't steal my firstborn, because, you know, maybe I might be all right with that, but they took something else really precious, you know? They took like the PlayStation 5 itself. No! Can't get one of those again.
Wow.
Yeah, bad times, bad times.
Yeah, that would definitely hurt. That would definitely hurt.
Savage, absolutely savage. Before we start diving into some of the nuances around like what your favorite games are that you've platinumed, which ones you're most proud of, that kind of thing, I do want to ask you, when you're talking about PlayStation, like the PlayStation like kind of trophy groups that you've mentioned there, and you were saying about grading for them. Now, I've signed up to PSN profiles, and I'm on there somewhere. I don't really check it though. I haven't really gone down that avenue too much. I haven't got that kind of addicted to that whole thing. How does that grading work? Is it done by rarity or is there something else?
No. So on PSN profiles, that's the one I was referring to now. Is that what you're asking me about?
Yes, yeah. When you're talking
Yeah.
about the grading for games and stuff.
So the grading is like how much of it you've completed. You could have
Right.
a game. Could have a game platinumed. Like we say, this is terrible, but I have the platinum for Drive Club, but the
All right.
completion is only 23%, and because of all the DLC, I actually don't know what grade that is. But if you have a platinum and it has DLC, you could have an A rank, but you have to complete the DLC to get it S ranked. So F would be if you haven't earned a trophy. E could be one trophy. And it depends then as well on how hard the game is. Or like we say in Super Meat Boy, you could have maybe, I don't know, 5 trophies and you'd have an A on it because it's really hard to complete, you know, because it kind of does go by the rarity, but to have it 100, you have to have the game 100% to have it at an S rank.
Okay. So is it kind of similar? About 2 weeks ago, I platinumed the Spider-Man Remastered, but I didn't get all the trophies for the DLC.
Yeah.
So is it exactly that? So I would have an A?
No, you don't, because I'm the same as you, but I'm actually working on the DLC. That is currently sitting in my list because, Davey, that happened to me as well when the PS5 came out. I put in Spider-Man and it auto-popped. I was devastated over that. At least it wasn't Plat 100. But yeah, but that is currently sitting in my list at a C.
Oh,
because it's an easy plat, yeah. So until you do all the DLC, then so it's sitting at a C with the platinum.
Wowie. So interesting. Now, I don't know if you've done this because this is something that I've done before in the past. I was looking at my trophy list and I noticed I had Battlefield Hardline. And I was like 90% or 95%. I have one trophy to get, which is play this one specific mode and win on it 20 times or something. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go on Reddit, right? Battlefield Reddit, and post in there and say, hey, does anyone want to help me get this? And it was just a boosting group. And I had this 5 other blokes. So like, yeah, sure. Like I'd never met before, didn't know them at all. And we all got into a lobby. And we had about 2 hours together. We were all helped each other get the platinum. And it was such a nice little experience where we were all, I think we had to use these shotguns that now you had to pay for because there was no way to like unlock them anymore, like in the game or something. And this one guy had them. And so he'd just run out, get himself killed. We'd pick up his shotguns and then we'd each kill the other 4 blokes like that 20 times to earn this trophy. And it was just such a great experience. I mean, have you gone down that rabbit hole in terms of boosting or kind of helping people achieve trophies?
100%, yeah. Before I joined PSN profiles last October, I was looking for people to do Red Dead 1. Online on that, I recruited people from Twitter, Discord, Facebook, and I had a few friends recruit people for me too because we needed, including myself, 9 people for one of the trophies. Whoa. So that was absolute nuisance. Now, if you're on PSN profiles, you just put up a session. You're looking for how many, here's the trophies you want to do. Now, I don't do that myself. My friend does it if we need to set up a boosting group. But yeah, I have done what you've said. I've also, I've messaged somebody that I saw in Reddit was saying they were looking for people for Firewall. 0 hour, and so I messaged him on PlayStation, and that's how I got into that boosting group.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'd say it's nice, isn't it, to be able to have like such an open and welcome kind of group where they're willing to sacrifice their time to be able to help people. Have you ever had any like kind of negative experiences, or have they all been relatively quite positive?
That's. I was leaving you speak because you were like, "Yeah, wasn't it really nice?" I was like, "Not always. It's not
Oh
always
no.
really nice. No. I've been like I've been very lucky. I have been the majority of my boosting sessions have been amazing, but there is one group, we won't mention names because if any of them see, they'll know who they are, and yeah, they weren't very very pleasant and. Went in there. I messaged in the group and I said, look, I haven't played this game in a while. Would I need to do the tutorial? And the person who was like in charge of the group saying, no, once you get in, people will explain what we need to do, you'll be fine. And wow, I was screamed and yelled at. I was like, this is insane, being spoken to in this manner. I was like, oh, things I'll do for trophies. So I just let it slide. But I spent, I'd say, about 70 hours playing with these people.
Oh
and
my
like they did
god.
mellow out in the end. Yeah, they did mellow out
Jeez.
in the end, but in the beginning, and just because I didn't know what I was doing, and it was there for everyone to read, that I said, look, I haven't played this in a while. Do I need to tutorial? Blah blah blah. But yeah. So it's not always a pleasant experience. But I do have friends like I know a lot of people hate multiplayer trophies, but I'm very lucky that I have friends that I can. Like I was doing GTA 4 before I got on here with
my
my
God.
friend, and we were talking about like we need at least another 4 players for some of the trophies, and he said, look, I'll post it on PSN profiles and try and get a group together for next weekend. And usually it goes fine.
Fair play to you. I mean, 70 hours with a group
70.
is a hell of a long time. I think, Spence, the only games that we've played that long together is like COD, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
surely, like,
Competitive
70 hours
games,
with you.
not for platinums. Yeah.
70 hours just with you would do my head in, I reckon, playing one game. Let alone if you got a group of randoms together, It's just ridiculous. Oh my God, fair play to you,
Oh, it was
Carla.
hard. It was hard, and it was so boring as well. It was so boring. But
Oh my God.
I'm going to be super proud of that platinum when I have it. I haven't finished it yet. I still have a lot of solo grinding to do, but yeah, I got most of the multiplayer stuff out of the way.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, that is one to be proud of, that's for sure. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before I ask you a shed load more little questions that I've got going on, Phil, I'm pretty sure you've got a question that you're looking to ask.
Yeah, sure. Okay, and I've been a little quiet on the introduction for this because I'm not the biggest platinum hunter out there. I have a grand total of 13 platinums, okay? And I'll explain a little bit about that once we get your answer to my question. So what I wanted to know is that when you get a new game, how do you go about planning your sort of platinum run for this new game? Do you go out? Do you do your research? Do you try and get as many as you can on your first run? Or is that very much the first run of the game, kind of just to experience the game first and then you go back through to kind of pick up the ones you missed?
Oof, now that's a good question. It really depends on the game. If it's a game that it's a game on PlayStation Plus, I didn't buy it with my own money. It's a game I'm playing because it's been given to me. I will look up a guide and make sure there's no missables. If there is missables, how I'm going to go about it so I can just at least maybe have one run. Now, Spider-Man 2 is coming out in October, and it's probably not going to have missables. And even if somebody did say, look, there could be missables, I'd be saying, no, I'm playing that through and just going to enjoy for what it is. And then I'll worry about the trophies afterwards. So it really, really does depend on the game for me, and because sometimes I just like a quick platinum between, the big hard or grindier games, and just want a quick plat, and yeah, then I'll have a look and see if anything is missable.
Fair enough. For my platinums, generally I go in for the games that I really love, and they generally are my second playthrough with the game that I'll go out and find all the ones that I've missed. My proudest one is Death Stranding. That took me, I think, around 90 hours to actually do. So
nice one.
That's the one that sits at the top of my list. Even though I've only got a small amount, all of mine are sort of 80, 90 hour games to actually get.
Nice.
So I haven't got any My Name and Mayo games there. I can see Spencer getting a little red with that one.
He's getting a bit nervous.
You're not alone, Spence.
Oh, he's getting nervous. What was that
It
other
was
one
a
you
fun
played?
game.
Oh yeah, I bet it was class. What was that other one you played, Spence? About chickens or whatever? Can't remember.
Chicken on the run. Chicken on the run, mate. Cost me 99p and it took me 5 minutes. Oh. I got 4 platinums that night. What a great time.
Oh my god, the dopamine rush of that platinum sound, just worth the money itself. It's quite an interesting way about how we all go about it, to be honest. I think that for myself, thinking about trophies, it's kind of evolved over time. So back on PS3 when they first came in, I wasn't really too bothered. And then I think my first ever platinum, I believe, was Infamous. And after I got that platinum, something about the sound, something about just the sound of it was just like, oh, I just loved seeing it. I was so proud of it. And then it kind of forced me then to go back to games that I adored and be like, right, I'm going to earn the platinum for this. Like, I think my most proud platinum, I guess, is probably Resistance 2, I think. And that was a 10,000 kills online trophy, which was quite a long time. And I became cracked at that game. Oh my god, I was sick. By the end, absolutely busted. You know, like a 40.0 KD ratio. It was nuts. I was running around people.
Wow.
So most people would just quit after like, I don't know, a few games. Probably didn't love it that much. And I was just like, I love this game. I knew where everything was spawned. 5 seconds later, I'd be like, after getting the grenade, it's back, baby. Just start doing rotations, just knew everything. 5 steps till I get to here. 7 steps till I get to this place, and he's dead. And it was something else. But as times kind of changed, I've been able to kind of step away from the grind, like kind of mindset that I had with games. Like I used to do what you do now, Carla, in terms of I used to get a game, put it in, and go straight onto like Power Picks or wherever, and have a look to see the trophy guide and see how long it is. And now it's more of a case that I'll generally do the first playthrough kind of blind, and then make a decision then in terms of, do I want to dedicate the time to this? Do I want to go for it? But there are cases where it's quite freeing to know that this is something you're not going to go for. Like me and Spence, we've been playing After the Fall on PSVR 2 at the moment. And we fired it up.
Cool.
Oh, great little game. And, and we fired up the trophy list for it onto like Power Picks, wherever it was. And it was like 500 playthroughs. I'm like, nah. No. I like it, but 500 playthroughs is a goddamn lot. Even if it is a grinding, just repeat the same thing on harder difficulties for better loot. 500 is a big old ask. So I was like, right, well, that's quite freeing in a way. You can just experience it, and then when you want to come off, you got no pressure to be able to kind of go in and see this experience through. I mean, Spence, I don't know how you go about confronting your games. Do you have a certain structure that you use?
My structure is quite similar to yourself, Carla, where it depends on the game. It's situational. Like with the big hitting games, like your Spider-Mans, your God of Wars, I usually just want to play the game.
Yeah.
But I typically don't use Power Picks Power Picks is the one I use. But I'll only use it if it's a PS Plus game or it's just an easy plat. Or if I'm done with the game and I don't know what to do, I usually like to I'm a massive advocate for PlayStation cards. I love using the cards.
Oh, wow.
The guys that come with it and the trophies in it and everything. So I like to use that mainly, especially in like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It was perfect in that game. Explained it perfectly. You didn't need a trophy guide. It gave it to you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I always try to use that first. And then if I'm still stuck on something, I'll then look up a guide. But it gets to that point. Otherwise, I'll just try to focus on the game and use the PlayStation itself to get me through that platinum.
Awesome.
Quite interesting, really. We've all got like different kind of approaches to how to do it. But I suppose the big hitting question, Carla, which trophy or which game are you most proud of achieving the platinum in?
You know what? I don't know. Because once I got them, once I've achieved them, like, okay, when I first started trophy hunting, I thought anyone with Red Dead 2 or Mortal Kombat X were amazing gamers. Then I got them and I'm like, yeah, but they weren't that hard, So, I don't really have
Humble
anything.
brag.
I don't have. No, but honestly, they do take a while, but they're not hard. So you just have to have, the time commitment first.
Yeah.
But once I haven't got anything that I can go like, oh, I've got Super Meat Boy. I'd love to be saying, oh, I've got Super Meat Boy, but I don't, and I probably never will. But yeah, I don't no. I don't really have something that I'm super proud of.
We always have a thing
Wow.
on our show which is called like a big dick platinum. So the kind of platinum that you'd show off, that you'd be like, yeah, here we go. This is my big dick platinum. And the one that for me is like just the shadow that I'll never quite catch, is Wolfenstein 2. And that
Yeah.
trophy list is just wild. And I look at that and I think,
Yeah.
never. Absolutely never. And I could try it for like a million years. I don't think I'd ever achieve it. But the moment I did, I think it's at that point you just hang
Oh, you
up the
do?
controller.
Wow. Well done.
Oh,
You
no, I
did?
don't have
Wow,
it.
did
No,
you?
no, 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 no,
Oh,
no,
I thought
no.
you said you did. Sorry.
Oh, God. Oh, no. No.
Yeah.
I got to experience what it would be like to have it, though, for that moment. So you kind of gave that to me, which was quite nice. And now that might encourage me to try it for myself. But no, I'm not
should.
no way near good enough for that. No way. You got to
And
be...
you don't know until you try. And there's strategies out there as well, because I have a friend and he's got all the hardest plats. And he is a good gamer, but he's very humble and he's like, no, I'm just a tryhard. And he says, like, there's a strategy for everything. There's ways around things. Now, obviously it does. You have to have a lot of skill for these kind of things, but practice makes perfect as well. And I always think that. I was like, because my friend and I are going for the heist on GTA. The Doomsday Heist, the Criminal Mastermind trophies, and the Elite. And I was like, it might take us forever, but if we keep trying, we're eventually going to get it, So that's kind of the way I look at it,
No,
That's
you're right.
if you want to, of course.
No, but you're right, though. It is just a case of just patience and just try again, isn't it? More than anything, I suppose. And just that mentality just to not quit and just to see it through again and another. And just keep on going, another run. We can do it better. We can do this better, whatever it is.
Absolutely, 100%.
So, Carla, I got one last question for you, which I think would be quite interesting. If somebody came to you and said, Carla, your life could have gone two separate ways. You could have gone down the path where you never experienced trophies, where ignorance was bliss, or the path you're on right now, which would you choose? Do you kind of regret getting into this whole metagame of trophies, and has it been a positive or a negative influence on you?
It's been both, if I'll be absolutely honest. I love it. I really, really do love it. But you know what? It's kind of become a little bit of an obsession. As I said earlier, it started out with just platinums, not caring about my completion. Now I care about my completion. And now I'm spending crazy money on DLC to get my games that are already platinumed at an A on PSN profiles, to get them up to an S, the 100% and stuff like that. Like, I wish I didn't have that mindset, So I wish there was a balance. I wish I was how I was years ago, just caring about getting platinums. And yeah, do you know what? That is actually a very, very hard question.
Yeah, it is a tricky one. And I mean, it's something that I've thought about before. Like, one of my mates, he just mutes trophies, so he never hears them. He never gets a notification. And I think he's just an absolute nutcase, right? I just can't understand why. It's just madness, absolute madness. But he lives in this carefree existence where he's like, oh, I earned the platinum the other day on this game. I didn't even know I even was close. And I was like, oh, wow, is that going to get you in? He's like, no, I didn't care, mate. And I was like, what? Like, I'm constantly checking my list.
Yeah.
Oh, am I close? Am I not? Oh, if I do it this way. And I think for me, the one thing that Platinums has done to it, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, Carla, is that it's made me approach games that I enjoy just in a different way than I ever would think about doing. So, for example, you could play a game and it says like, oh, for this run, you need to do it in sub this amount of time, or you need to do it without going into the item box this amount of times, or whatever it is. You need to put these kind of difficulties, that like kind of an artificial difficulty, on top of whatever the difficulty is. And especially when you start being smart about it and you start combining things. So I'm going to do a no-hit run combined with these other things. You make it super hard for yourself. But it kind of forces you to do that. Do you find that it does open up kind of the way to play the game rather than anything else?
Oh, 100%. Is the game you're on about like Resident Evil 2?
I'll add one. I'll add one in the doc for you, Carl. I'll add one in. I'm sure one of us will have that in your absence. All right. But yeah, it is. Yeah. So that and
Yeah,
any of the games that can't be mentioned, they've all got these little tweaks and little things to the trophy list, which always just
yeah.
open it up to play it in a different way.
So like that, for example, I tried playing that when it first came out. I thought I'd brave. No, I'm not. I'm terrible at horror games. Terrible because they scare the life out of me. And I saw Mr. X before I started playing the game, and I was like, he's not even scary, you know. So I started playing the game then. So I was running into zombies, running into lickers, and then I had him running behind me. And I was like, oh, screw this game. I'm actually hiding this from my list. I'm not going to get the platinum from this. I was like terrified. But I actually took it out of hiding recently. And I said, no, screw this. I am going to get the platinum. But there is a guide on YouTube and he does the platinum in 4 hours. Now that does not mean I'm going to get the platinum in 4 hours. But he's going to hold my hand the whole way through. I'll literally watch a minute, play a minute for the whole thing if I have to. So yeah, like I would never in a million years like play a game like that. But for the platinum, I will do all these runs and get this guy to hold my hand the whole way through just for the platinum. That's not really the way you're supposed to play games, but anything for platinum.
Anything for a platinum. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's fun to be able to go in and get some extra playtime out of these games and just find new ways to play and experience them. And that's what I think is always great about trophies. Well, Carla, it's been an absolute pleasure unpicking your mind. Now, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Karlat984, Karlat984, and that's where I post all about my triumphs and what I get up to in gaming and my platinums.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. You're always welcome. The MPS We Trust doors are always open to you, Carla. If you ever want to come on by, talk about some of the difficulties that you've had, or if you want to shout or scream about a good or bad list, because we certainly love dunking on a bad list on this show, then please, by all means, let us know. You're more than welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. It's been lovely to chat to you.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for having me on, guys. It's been great chatting, yeah.
I've really enjoyed
Offloading.
it. Yeah, sharing, isn't it? Sharing is caring, and just getting
Sharing
it out
is
there.
caring.
Definitely is.
Absolutely.
But thank you
Thanks
ever
a
so
million,
much,
guys.
Carla. Been a pleasure. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Well, with that, Carla is gone. What an absolute lovely guest. And it's nice to have someone on that's just a way more hardcore than we are, lads. Really put us in our place, I think. Really showed us up quite a bit, to be honest. I think, if anything, I'm more motivated now to pull trophies out my arse and start getting some juices out there. Something to be proud of, I think, that we can embody Carla's example by.